Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another television series video review. Going to be reviewing Nickelodeon's 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles up to current point, which is episode 37 from the second season. Let's do it. Alright, good stuff. So every now and then I get messages from people in my channel talking about the series, the Tmnt 2012 series. People telling me I gotta check it out, and I haven't done videos about it for a really long time. When it first started, I did a review for the first couple episodes, and then I stopped reviewing it. Now, I kind of regret that because, man, this is such a cool series. It's not exactly a cartoon series, but, you know, I think about it like in terms of, you know, Saturday, Sunday morning cartoons, this type of thing. Nickelodeon, you know, it's like a cartoon show, right? It reminds me a lot of the old 80s TMNT cartoon series, which was an amazing series, went on for, of course, like 10 years, which was crazy. And, you know, this one's kind of just getting started, so to speak, compared to the other two. The 2003 series went for 7 seasons, which was a lot too, when you consider 7 years of a show, especially a Turtles-type cartoon show, to go on for that long and that many episodes, especially when some seasons they're doing like over, you know, 20 episodes, that kind of thing in a season. You get into the hundreds pretty quickly with that many seasons. So this series here, how does it stack up to the others? What do I think about it? Well, I've seen almost every episode. I've missed a few from the first season that I still intend to go and check out, but enough to sort of give my thoughts on the new Nickelodeon series and just kind of, you know, do an overall review for it up to this point. Now, I'm sure it's going to go on for a long time, so in a few years this may not be applicable anymore, but at this time, you know, we got the Turtles movie coming out this year, the new one. The show's still going strong. The action figures are going really strong for the line, for the TV series Nickelodeon line, and you know, they're releasing like almost every character, every bad guy, even Fish Face, and you'll have Dog Pound, and you'll have Mutagen Man and Metalhead. You know, there's figures in the basic toy line series for everyone. The playsets are cool. The sewer, you know, playset humongous for this one, and you gotta love the Turtles, man. The Turtles are a lot of fun. Now, for people that haven't checked out this series yet, or if you've only seen a couple episodes, I gotta tell you, this is one that if you like the Turtles, if you liked the 80s cartoon series, I can basically guarantee you're going to like this series. I mean, I would find it very strange if people liked the 80s and don't like this one, because this one, it really is like a combination of the 80s TMNT and the 2003 series TMNT. You have some great action sequences with the weapons and everything, Turtles kicking butt, Shredder's menacing, a lot of great villains, a lot of great mutagen episodes, and a lot of awesome action that we had in the 2003 cartoon, which from the early 80s series was a little bit, you know, wasn't all there. It was a lot of the focus was on comedy, even in scenes where you'll have the Turtles at the beginning and like early on in the 80s series. They would just use a lot of things in the environment to beat the villains, you know, or you know, the only ones they would actually hit for the most part in terms of punch or, you know, use their weapons on would be like the foot soldiers, you know, the electronic, the robotic ones, right? So this series is really cool because it's like an updated version of that with the action of the 2003 and the comedy of the old 80s cartoon. For example, Michelangelo in this series, I'll put the link in the description for this video. You guys got to check this out. It's the best scenes are Michelangelo from the first season. It's literally like 30 minutes long, and it's absolutely hysterical. The voice actor for Michelangelo in this, honestly, I gotta say he's just as good as the 80s version. And I know that's tough. The old Surfer Mikey, you know, a whole generation grew up with that Michelangelo. But I'm saying the new Michelangelo from the Nickelodeon series is hilarious just as well. He's awesome. The voice actor's name is Greg Sipes. I've never heard of him before, but I gotta tell you, he nails this one. Absolutely nails it. He's not the only character that's funny. It's written really well in terms of the comedy. It's got the kind of over-the-top alien type of you know, influence as well too, because you have the Krang in this one. Now, some people don't like the idea of the Krang, so to speak, because, you know, they're used to the old 80s where Krang was just one Utron. right? And then in this new series, you have the Krang, which is like a whole army, let's say, of alien Utroms that are all named Krang. But me personally, I don't mind it because there is actually an episode, at least one or a couple, in the 80s cartoon series where Krang clones himself, right? And you got to think about it in terms of like modern day. Would it make sense that if Krang was going to try to become more powerful, they even talk about Krang Prime, sometimes they refer to him as, it would make sense to me that he would clone himself like a 100,000 times or something, and just use himself as his minions, really, right? Just clone himself and use himself. So next thing you know, you have an army of Krang Utroms that are all really intelligent, that are smart, and all follow the same kind of strategy, right? Or at least for the most part. So I really like that. I like that style. Now, granted, the Krang in this one, I don't think he's as fun. He's not as funny as the '80s version of Krang was. All the weird bowel sounds and different. I guess I call them bowel sounds, but the different weird. I don't know how to describe them. Sounds that the '80s Krang makes. So Krang is fun in this one too. He's not as funny as the '80s version, but he's fun too. And of course, they use him as a plot device a lot for different new villains and mutagen and ooze and all these different types of things. So it fits in well with the story, even to the point where they have their own version of the Technodrome in the season 1 finale, which is pretty good too. I definitely like the season finale for the first season of TMNT. Very good stuff. So that's Krang. In terms of the turtles themselves, like I said with Michelangelo, hilarious, awesome, love it. The way they show emotion and everything, like the way they have their eyes change, and the background sometimes will like light up with fire, and it adds to Michelangelo's comedy. It adds to the comedy of the series and just makes it even better. So that's Mikey. In terms of Raph, like I said, the fire thing in the background and him always being this just rage monster ready to blow. Him and Michelangelo, they play off each other really well, whereas versus like the 80s version, Mikey or Raph was more like a comedian. He wasn't this angry. This one's more like the true comic book Raph or the 2003 Raph or some of the movie Raphs where, depending. Where he does blow up and he is angry. He's got anger management issues. so that's fun too. And I like Raph in this one. You've got Donatello, who's the smart guy. I like in this one how they all the turtles are drawn different. Donnie's taller than the others, so to give him some kind of difference, he's got a split tooth. It's like missing a tooth. He's got like this tooth thing, and none of the others have that. So he's got his own stylized look. So do the others. Mikey's shorter and cuter. He's more rounded and everything. And his the way they draw like the freckles and everything, it's really, really fun. So there's Donnie. Leo is pretty good. He's actually played by Jason Biggs. If you can believe it, plays Leonardo, but he sounds pretty good. I would think Jason Biggs would be like a comedy type, but he's good. He's good in this, and I do like him as Leonardo. He does a good job. Sean Astin as Raphael, great job as well. Fits it perfectly. Greg Sipes, as it says, Michelangelo, oh man, amazing. And then you have Rob Paulson as Donatello, who was actually Raphael in the 80s cartoon. So that's a really cool, and he sounds great in this one too. Until I looked it up, I kind of knew the voice, but I was like, who is that voice? And then it clicked. It's like, oh, that was Raph in the old cartoons. So awesome stuff from him as well too. Splinter sounds really cool. He's played by Hoon Lee, and Splinter in this one is a badass. I mean, he's like he can go in this one. He'll go one-on-one with a Shredder, and he'll win. And it makes sense because it's like he's teaching them. He's their sensei. He should be a badass MFer. He should be the type of guy you do not want to mess with. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy taught the Ninja Turtles, for God's sakes. So he himself has got to be a badass dude. And in this one, he is. The others, sometimes he's played as kind of older, so, sometimes he'll fight, sometimes he won't. But in this one, when it comes down to it, and he goes one-on-one with a Shredder and actually beats him, I was like, wow, that's awesome. I really love that. I love that take on it, because that's different than we've seen in almost any of the other series. The Shredder would not be defeated just by Splinter by himself. Well, except for maybe the first movie, but that was after he'd already fought the other Turtles and stuff. You guys get the idea of what I'm saying, where he'll go one-on-one and beat the Shredder. Very cool. In addition to that, and there's also some interesting stuff. I don't want to give away anything about the plot. This will be non-spoiler. But there's some really interesting things they've done with Shredder, Splinter, and, I don't want to talk too much about it, but between Shredder and Splinter, there's some really interesting things they do with the plot that are different from any other, and I do like it. I like it a lot. It's really good stuff in the way they do it. Also, Splinter is kind of like the 80s version where he actually was Homato Yoshi, and he was not just his pet rat. He actually was him and was transformed. So I like that take better too, actually. It makes him feel like more like, okay, he would understand the human world better. You know, it makes it pretty organic for the mutation, and how to teach the turtles afterwards makes sense, right? April in this is okay. She's like a high school student type thing. So, I mean, it's okay. It works well. They're trying to target that audience, right? So I can understand that. I do prefer the 80s newscaster April over this one, but this one's okay as well. In addition to that, we have Kevin Michael Richardson as the Shredder, and so we used to have Uncle Phil as a Shredder, of course, which was awesome. Uncle Phil's the best Shredder. I don't care what anybody says. He's the best Shredder. He's not the most menacing, but he's the best Shredder. The most menacing would be the 2003 Shredder. I don't remember who played him, who voiced him. But this one is pretty good, too. He's kind of somewhere... he's kind of... I'd say he's almost as cool as a 2003 version, but as far as we know, he's not a Neutron. So that's kind of cool too. So I like the Shredder in this one. He's good. The voice acting is okay. It's not my favorite Shredder ever. My favorite Shredder would probably be the 80s Shredder, just for the comedy. But in terms of like action, my favorite Shredder would have to be the 2003 Shredder when it comes down to fighting. But just overall for comedy, I do like the 80s Shredder a lot. It's a lot of fun. So that's pretty much going over each character. There's a lot more characters than just that. Casey's appeared this season. We've had tons of different mutants and per episodes and different things happening, and all around I gotta say this show is just outstanding. It's incredible, and I may even start doing reviews of each episode depending on how people like this, how many people are following it. I don't know how many people out there are really following and are really that into the show, so I may start doing that because it is a really great cartoon series. And in terms of the score, I'm gonna give it, I guess, a 9 out of 10 for what it is. It's really, really well done. It is CG. It's not the old style animation. I do prefer old style animation, but after a little while, you start getting used to the CG, and I like the way they use it to show emotion. This is the best we've ever had for the Turtles at showing emotion, when in the older cartoons, especially the 2003 version without the eyes, earlier on, before Back to the Sewers, when they didn't draw on the eyes, a lot of times it's really hard to kind of get the emotion from them, and in this they really show emotion well, and it's just a lot of fun all around. Great series. So anyway, if you guys have checked out the 2012 TMNT series, let me know what you think about it. Personally, I think it's off the chain. It's awesome show, and even as an adult you can really enjoy it if you like the Turtles, and especially for kids or teenagers. I mean, this is awesome. You cannot go wrong with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ever, and this one certainly did. I love that Nickelodeon is handling this property the way they should, with the respect they should, and putting out this quality of product for such a great franchise. Including what they're doing with the toys, all of it together, and it's just, man, it's a lot of fun. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely, I cannot recommend it enough. Check it out. You can even find it on some sites on the internet, watching cartoons, and even some episodes are on YouTube, so feel free to check that out if you like. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say for this one. If you guys have any more Turtle topics you'd like to hear me talk about, please feel free to private message them to me on YouTube, or, well, write them in the comments if you want to as well. And that's pretty much all I got to say. It's a great new series, and I look forward to seeing where they're going in the future. Really look forward to the rest of the episodes of Season 2 this season, and may even start doing some more reviews for each individual episode, because it is that good, it's that fun, it's that funny. Call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, as always, saying peace.